Section 7.5 is on solving inequalities by multiplying and dividing. When you multiply and divide by a positive number, it's just like you're used to doing, what you've done with the equal signs before. You remember that the opposite of multiplying is dividing, and the opposite of dividing is multiplying. So on this particular problem, if I have d divided by 2 is greater than 7, to get rid of that 2 on the bottom, I'm going to need to multiply both sides by 2. On the left-hand side, that's equal to 1, so what I have left is d is greater than, I just bring the greater than sign down, 7 times 2 is 14, so I know d is greater than 14. I don't think it asks you on this to graph it, so all you're doing is you're solving these. If you were to graph it, remember you were going to put the 14 in the center, you would put a 13 here, and you would put a 15 here, open circle, and it's going to go to the right. Here's another one. You have d divided by 9, so the way that you get rid of the 9 that's divided into the d is you multiply. What you do to one side, you have to do the other side. So here I'm left with d is greater than 36. If I have something that's multiplied by the variable, the way that I get rid of that is I'm going to divide. So 8 times x, the way that I have to get rid of that 8 is I divide both sides by the 8. So on the left-hand side it goes away, and I'm left with x. And on the right-hand side I have 40 divided by 8, which is 5. So x is less than or equal to 5. Over here, to get rid of the 9, I would have to divide both sides by 9. So I bring my x down. 54 divided by 9 is 6, so x is greater than 6. Now, when you multiply or divide by negative numbers, that has a little bit of a twist to it. When you're multiplying or dividing to solve an inequality with a negative number, it requires you to switch the direction of the inequality. Now, it has to be if you're multiplying or dividing by a negative. So this one, I have x divided by negative 3 is less than 4. The way that I would get rid of the negative 3 is I would multiply both sides by negative 3. On the left-hand side, it goes away. On the right-hand side, I have multiplied by a negative 3. So I have to switch the direction of the inequality, so I get x is greater than negative 12. If I multiply or divide by a negative to solve an inequality problem, I have to switch the direction of the inequality. This one, I have negative 7 that I have multiplied by the x. The way that I get rid of something that's multiplied is I divide. What I do to one side, I do to the other side. So I have divided by a negative number to solve it. So I switch the direction of the inequality, and I get x is less than 8. Let's do a couple more here. The x is divided by the negative 5, so I need to multiply both sides by negative 5. I multiplied by a negative to solve it, so I switch the direction of the inequality. So I get x is less than or equal to negative 35. This one, the negative 9 is multiplied by the x, so to get rid of it, I divide by negative 9. What I do to one side, I have to do the other side. Because I divided by a negative, I switch the direction of the inequality, and I get x is greater than 3. All right, your homework is on page 353, 15 through 37 odd.